Hello, my name is Andy, and I am a minister for Trinity of Christ Church, and we are doing a series in Bible study of Genesis. And today we're doing Genesis 14. I'll put it up on the screen for you so that you can read along with me. And I ask that if you like this video, to like it, share it, subscribe if you want to see more. And if you want to see all the videos, you can go to trinityofchrist.org. Okay, well, let us begin. Maybe as I get set up, Abraham rescues Lot. At the time when Amraphel was king of Shinar, Arioch king of Eleazar, Kedorlaomer king of Elam, and Tidal king of Goyim, these kings went to war against Bera king of Sodom, Bersha king of Gomorrah, Shinab king of Admah, and Shemember king of Zeboim, and the king of Bela, that is Zor. All these later kings joined forces in the valley of Siddim, that is the Dead Sea Valley. For 12 years they had been subject to Gedolaomer, but in the 13th year they rebelled. In the 14th year, Kedorlaomer and the kings allied with him went out and defeated the Rephites in Ashtaroth, Karanaim, and Zuzites in Ham, the Emites in Shave Kiriathaim. Oh my goodness, these words don't trust my pronunciations of them. I don't know how they were actually properly pronounced. Just go with me. And the Horites in the hill country of Seir, as far as El Paran near the desert. Then they turned back and went to En Mishpat, that is Kadesh, and they conquered the whole territory of the Amalekites, as well as the Amorites, who were living in Hazazon Tamar. Then the king of Sodom, the king of Gomorrah, and the king of Admah, the king of Zeboim, and the king of Belar as Zor, marched out and drew up their battle lines in the valley of Siddim against Kedorlaomer, king of Elam, Tidal king of Goyim, Amraphel king of Shinar, and Arioch king of Eleazar. 4 kings against 5. Now the valley of Siddim was full of tar pits, and when the kings of Sodom and Gomorrah fled, some of the men fell into them, and the rest fled to the hills. The 4 kings seized all the goods of Sodom and Gomorrah, and all the food. Then they went away. They also carried off Abram's nephew Lot and his possessions, since he was living in Sodom. I'm going to ask you to forgive my pronunciations of these words. I don't know the proper pronunciations. They are quite difficult, as you could tell. 13. A man who had escaped came and reported this to Abram, the Hebrew. Now Abram was living near the great trees of Mamre the Amorite, a brother of Eshcol and Aner, all of whom were allied with Abram. When Abram heard that his relative had been taken captive, he called out the 318 trained men born in his household and went in pursuit as far as Dan. During the night, Abraham divided his men to attack them, and he routed them, pursuing them as far as Hobah, north of Damascus. He recovered all the goods and brought back his relative Lot and his possessions, together with the woman and the other people. After Abraham returned from defeating Kedorlaomer and the kings allied with him, the king of Sodom came out to meet him in the valley of Shavez, that is King's Valley. Okay, I'm going to stop there for a moment. Now, here we have, like it happens today in our world, kings who fight against kings. And they get allies and they join together and they go to war. And they take from the victor takes from the loser. Now, Lot happened to be a part of the Sodom Empire. And when Sodom fell, so did Lot and his possessions. And Abram, being a relative of Lot, heard of this and decided to save him. So he brought together 318 men, and he went and saved Lot from the other kings. And so, after the battle, and after he's won, he goes out, and the king of Sodom came out to meet him in the valley of Shavez, that is King's Valley. Now, it gets important here on in, so that's why I stopped us at that point. Please pay close attention to what happens from here on in. '18. Then Melchizedek, king of Salem, brought out bread and wine. He was the priest of the God Most High, and he blessed Abraham, saying, Blessed be Abraham by God Most High, creator of heaven and earth, and praise be to God Most High, who delivered your enemies into your hand. Then Abram gave him a tenth of everything. The king of Sodom said to Abram, Give me the people and keep the goods for yourself. But Abraham said to the king of Sodom, With raised hand I have sworn an oath to the Lord, God Most High, creator of heaven and earth, that I will accept nothing belonging to you, not even a thread or a strap of the sandal, so that you may never be able to say, I made Abraham rich. I will accept nothing but what my men have eaten and the share that belongs to the men who went with me, to Aner, Ashcol, and Mamre. Let them have their share. Okay, why did I stop before we meet the King Melchizedek? Melchizedek plays a part later in the Gospels. And there are some who say that Melchizedek is actually Jesus, or a Jesus-like person. And Melchizedek brings out bread and wine. Who else does that? Jesus. He is a priest of the God Most High. This is before Egypt and before the Egyptians enslaved the Hebrews. And so this is before they understand their God, and God takes them out of Egypt. And he blesses Abram. He hasn't become Abraham yet. By the God Most High, creator of the heaven and the earth, and praise be to God the Most High, who delivered your enemies into your hand. So it is pretty obvious that not only Abram, but others understood who God the Most High is. Even back then, before God takes Egypt and punishes Egypt and frees the Israelites. So just something to think about and contemplate. Was Jesus there? He was considered valuable enough to give a tenth of the tithe of their winnings from the battle. I'll let you stew with that. And you'll find he will be talked about again in the New Testament and in other places as well. So God bless and thank you for listening. And till next week, God bless.